First, just give us an update on what's going on right now. It looks like it was such a devastation for that region.
Yes, Vincent, these towns in the centre of Italy look like a war zone. We're seeing buildings that have been cut in two, the roofs being shorn off the apartment buildings and the homes. Really shocking scenes of devastation. And rescue teams are still working into the night tonight to try and save people that they believe are trapped under the rubble. They're sifting with bulldozers, sniffer dogs, even their bare hands. Mountains of rubble, as you can imagine, and scenes of incredible devastation in these towns. Amatrice has been very hard hit and seems to be the town where most of the victims have died. Around 35 at least have come from that town, but there are still many people unaccounted for.
And it looks like, the response was somewhat slow. Is it because of the time it happened, or was it a question of accessibility?
I think it was a question of both those factors. The fact that it happened at 3:30 in the morning, there was another serious aftershock an hour later. But here in August, it's very much a vacation period and many people are away. And I think it might have just taken a little while for people to get moving. And don't forget, these towns are fairly isolated hill towns. The roads are not major highways leading into these towns, so there would have been some difficulties with access. Some of the roads and bridges were damaged leading into these villages, so that certainly didn't help the operation. But the Civil Protection Department mobilised fairly quickly. Now there are hundreds of firefighters, emergency workers and volunteers working in these towns to try and beat the clock, if you like, and find out if there are people still alive. We're hearing people shouting for help beneath the rubble. And they rescued someone just a short time ago. So there are indications that people are still alive down there.
Now, is this a region that is in a kind of a zone that is susceptible to earthquakes, or was this a surprise kind of earthquake?
Well, Italy is a serious, suffers, as a serious earthquake-prone country. Right through the centre of the country is the Apennine mountain range, and that is a very serious quake zone. This particular area is very close, only about 60 kilometres away from L'Aquila, where the very serious earthquake occurred in 2009 and 300 people died there. The geologists, the senior geologists in Italy today were saying 24 million people in Italy live in an area or areas that have an elevated earthquake risk. So that gives you some idea, and those areas are dotted throughout the country, but this particular area is susceptible and has had earthquakes in the past.
And very quickly, these are mostly very old buildings, right?
These are very, very old buildings in the area. There's a mix of old and modern, but you'll notice if you see vision in the town of Amatrice, there was a medieval tower that collapsed. Or it's teetering, it's very fragile, and that gives you some indication of how old some of these buildings are. And they've survived centuries, but they've collapsed under the strength of this earthquake, so that gives you an idea of just how serious it was.
Okay, Josephine, thank you very much.
Thanks, Vincent.